Wishart.
Thank you ever so much, Mr Deputy Speaker. Boris Johnson is a liar. Now, you would have been unthinkable to have said this in this House only a few short months ago. Boris Johnson is a liar. There's something still fundamentally, profoundly shocking about saying this in this hallowed setting of our House of Commons, this institution that we revere so much. But there is no other way to put it. Boris Johnson lied to this House. Now, we were saying that long before that concept became fashionable. The SNP even held a debate on this very issue several months ago to highlight that point and to ensure that this was heard loud and clear in this chamber. My right honourable friend, the member for Ross Skye and Lochaber, was grandly marched out of this place for asserting something that is now a profound truth, as was the honourable member for Brent East. And she is absolutely right. A retrospective apology should now go to both of these members for getting it absolutely right. This is a stain on their parliamentary record, the fact that they were asked to leave this place for saying something that we now know to be a conventional truth. We were also one of the first to bring up the issues about those parties. We wanted to ensure that this House understood clearly what was going on, that we had a Prime Minister that was happy to have after-drinks parties for his staff in a number of locations in Number 10, when he had overseen the introduction of legislation that everybody else in this country diligently followed. Constituents of ours missed christenings, they missed weddings. For goodness sake, they missed funerals while watching newspaper photos of that Prime Minister standing there with glasses of wine in his hand. We said that his cavalier attitude towards interpreting the rules that he set himself made him unfit for public office. We knew that a reckoning would be coming and that eventually his reign of chaos would come to its inevitable and disastrous end. And everything in this report, Mr Deputy Speaker, vindicates us utterly and absolutely for everything that we have been saying for something like 15 and 16 months. We even predicted his response to this report, his refusal to take responsibility, lashing out at others who correctly judged him, attempting to undermine others who adjudicated in this process, trying to divert attention and obfuscate. Where this report is bad enough, and it is awful, his behaviour since has just compounded absolutely everything we thought we knew about him. It's hard to believe that there has been anyone so ill-equipped for high office or so ill-disposed to lead a country. A man-child playing politics, inventing this bizarre persona to sustain him through the day, creating the smokescreen to divert attention from his real political essence. His inevitable defenestration and removal from public life could almost be scripted. But not for Boris Johnson, a casual and easy departing into the night, but it's the screaming and shouting of someone who just cannot depart the scene. Not for him the hanging around to accept his punishment and the verdict of his peers. He is such a coward when it came to this issue that he quickly resigned his seat where we beyond the clutches of this Parliament. But almost unbelievably, there's some who still hanker this notion, this fantasy, that he will have some sort of route back to elected politics. It's hard to imagine a situation, a setting, where that would be allowed in this House. I think we can conclude today that he is toast, and thank good he is gone. But it has to come back to the party opposite and some of the responses of honourable gentlemen and ladies about Boris Johnson, because they knew everything about him. He is a serial sackee. There's very few places that he has worked that he was never sacked from, but they made him Prime Minister. Now, I made my maiden speech the same day as Boris Johnson. I actually followed him from these benches the day he made his maiden speech. Even at that point, there was doubts about his character, his ability to even just be a Member of Parliament. But not for them. They went on to make him Prime Minister. They celebrated him. They cheered him on through his bizarre and boorish speeches. They have credited him with the 2019 victory, and they have made sure that it's him that delivered the disaster that is Brexit. Something that my constituents, as well as constituents right around this country, is still paying for. And, Mr Deputy Speaker, we're still in the end period of the Johnsonian era, and regardless of how much they want to move on, they will never be able to move on from him until they actually take decisive action to cleanse their party from the stain of Johnson, something that I've not seen them be prepared to do. They've got an opportunity tonight. There's going to be a vote now. There's going to be a vote. So here's the challenge to every single member of the Conservative Party this evening. Line up with us and make sure that we back this Privileged Committee report and ensure that we have a decisive outcome in this House where every member has the opportunity to express their opinion. Now, Mr Deputy Speaker, we don't share this reverence that this House has by honourable members on both sides of this House. We want to leave this place. We don't share this institutional value that people get dewy-eyed about the House of Commons. But there's something that we do believe in. That is democracy. That is truth. That is doing the right things. These are the fundamental values of politics that determine the actions of everybody in here. Failure to live up to that should have a consequence that we should be taking forward just now. I don't think the Privilege Report went far enough. I would have had him banned and excluded from ever getting back into elected politics today. But I welcome what they have done, the thorough job that they've exercised and undertaken on behalf of everybody in the House. I now say to everybody in the House, back us this evening. Let's speak with one voice. Everybody trooping through this lobby. No return for Johnson. Let's pledge that loud and clear.
Simon Lightwood.
Thank you, Mr Deputy Speaker.